So, unlike Anakin says, while spinning in theory is a good trick, Brian tried spinning and it wasn't a good trick for him.
What did Batman say to Robin before they got in the car?
What?
Robin, get in the car.
Welcome to the Council of Nerds.
The Council of Nerds.
It's just me and Lurgan today.
Hello. We are here. Welcome. Today, Brian is feeling a little under the weather, so he's sitting this one out. And so, like Dan said, it's just us. Today, we just kind of keeping it chill. We're just going to talk about basically the moment or the day or the time or whatever that we felt like, yeah, we're nerds. You know, like the time that we finally discovered that the nerd life was the life for us. We didn't choose it though; it chose us. And first off, though, if this is your first time listening, just know you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Google Podcasts, about every podcast platform you can think of. We're also on YouTube. We don't have video up, but we do have a YouTube. Go over there and comment because it helps people discover the podcast. This week, why don't you guys comment like what made you nerdy, or what made you interested in nerdy, or the moment that made you nerdy, whatever. That'll be a good one. Also, we have an Instagram post when we upload our videos. Also, we have a Discord, but if you want to join that Discord, you have to get an invite link, which is on our Instagram. So go there. It's in our bio. Come join the Discord. Lots of good memes, fun times. But yeah, let's just get to it. I've been actually thinking a lot about this one because I feel like there's been multiple moments in my life that I was like, yeah, I'm pretty nerdy. But the moment, it's kind of hard thinking about like the actual moment that I was like, I'm in it, like I'm in this life. I'm not even gonna try and be cool. What's the point? It's dumb. Being cool is dumb. And being a nerd is way more fun for me. Honestly, well, first of all, I think I've always been into nerdy things, right? Like, growing up, I always loved Star Wars. Naturally, I loved Harry Potter. I loved Lord of the Rings. Just about everything. I liked video games a lot. I mean, there wasn't really anything that I was like, oh, that's too nerdy for me, except for like anime. And and then, and so like I don't know, I was always into it, but I was always like still. I mean, I still love sports, but I was always like focused on sports, and I was focused on like friends and school, and like I don't feel like I was always trying to be cool. Maybe up to a point. Um, I mean, I remember playing, make believe, pretending I was a clone trooper and getting on an LAAT and flying away shooting at droids and stuff, or pretending I was one of the Urukai. Um, but honestly, I think the deciding factor was probably in high school. I think it was my junior year. Yeah, my junior year. I had a class. I don't even remember the class. It was like personal finance or something like that. But I had it with like three of my friends, and that class was so easy. The teacher was cool, but we just became really good friends in that class, like even better friends. We'd go and play Minecraft, and then there was just like a moment where I remember one time we were sitting in my friend's basement playing Minecraft, and like no one was really talking, and then I don't remember who said it, but one of us was just like, have you guys ever wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons? And we were all like, yeah, like totally. And so like we got on Amazon right there, and we bought like the beginner's box of Dungeons and Dragons. Um and we played it, and it was fun. We used to Nerf used to sell like like medieval time style weapons,
Mm-hmm.
like swords and stuff. I wish they still did, honestly.
Yeah, those were sick.
Yeah, they're
My little
so
brother had
cool.
one. We used to steal it and beat him up with it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, you can get injured. And me and my friends, like, we bought ours. Like, I had like a battle axe, and they had swords. I ended up getting more swords. Um, but one of our friends had like he had this massive great sword, like the Nerf one, and he would swing so hard. Like my other friend got hit by it like in his finger, and it like ripped open his finger, and he was like bleeding. And geez, man, we would like basically we would LARP. We made our own shields. We went to Home Depot, bought some wood, made our own shields, painted them and stuff. We dressed up as like Scottish warriors and ran in this parade. This like ran a 5K in this parade with our shields, like dressed like Scottish warriors. I don't know. We just started doing dumb stuff like that, and it was like freeing. It was like good to be a nerd. And then, but I was in high school. I didn't have any money ever to like really buy anything. I still don't really have any money to buy anything ever, but I have a little more money. So I've still been able to like once I got to college, I started buying, Star Wars stuff, toys, helmets. I got
Jar Jar Binks on the mic.
always. I got Jar Jar Binks on my mic and a little battle droid right here, B1 battle droid, waving. I also have a Gonk droid. I got it for my
Really?
birthday. Yeah, he's Gonk.
That's sick.
I would love to like one day build like a life-size Gonk droid. That'd be so cool.
Mm.
It doesn't even have to move. I'll just use it as like a side table or something.
You did a trash can.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be sick. This thing does open up too.
Does it really?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good idea. I should do that. But yeah, I love Star Wars is my go-to. I love Star Wars. I mean, I have my problems with it, especially lately, but in the end, I still love it. I don't care. They make their decisions. There's things I don't like. Like I watched Caravan of Courage on Disney Plus the other day. It's from the 80s. It's all about like the Ewoks.
Oh,
It is
yeah.
so hard to watch. I mentioned this, I think, in our last episode when you weren't here, but it's hard to watch. Like, I think it's harder to watch than the holiday special, just because like
Really?
the holiday special I can like laugh at and like make fun of, and so it's kind of fun to be in it, and it has these funny moments. But this movie just sucks. It's so bad, and I don't. I sat through the whole thing, and there's a sequel. I can't remember what the sequel's called, but I'm the type of person that's like if I watch the first one, I have to watch the sequel. So I'm like,
No.
gosh, I'm dreading that one. Yeah, I got helmets though. I got a regular stormtrooper helmet. I got a sand or a shore trooper helmet. I have Poe Dameron's pilot helmet. I have a Darth Vader helmet, and I have a Phase 2 clone trooper helmet that I've painted white, but I want to paint it like a certain character from Clone Wars. And
Sick.
I one day plan on buying a full set of armor, clone trooper armor, or shore trooper armor. I'm kind of debating, or both. Why not? But yeah, I loved Star Wars. I loved being a nerd, and I think I remember one time, specifically. Sorry, this is my like one of my last things before you can go. But one of like the last things I remember where I think it was that same year in high school. I There was some people from think they're just family friends of ours, but they had four sons, like little boys, and they asked me to babysit. I don't know why I didn't babysit like ever anyone, but I was like, whatever. I need cash, so I'll do it. Um, and it was like at night, so they're gonna be sleeping like the whole time anyway. But like I get there and they're still awake, and I was like, all right, what do you guys want to do? Like you go to bed in like an hour or whatever. And I think the oldest at the time was like 7 or 8, and they were like, "Oh, it's watch Star Wars," and I was like, "Okay." I haven't watched it in a while, so why not? And I think they threw on Return of the Jedi, and I was just like, they all passed out in like 5 minutes. They were like sleeping, and I watched it, and I was like, "This is great. Everything about this is fantastic. I love Star Wars so much. This movie's so fun and so cool." I was like so into it. And I probably hadn't watched it and maybe it wasn't that same year in high school. Maybe it was a couple years before, but it was like, I hadn't watched it in a while and I was like, man, I love this stuff. So I think that was the root of it. I think babysitting those kids and watching Return of the Jedi was like the root of, it was like reigniting the flame of just like loving this nerd stuff and getting into it more. But I mean, I don't know. I want to be more nerdy. I want to get into it more and more. But if you want to get really nerdy, you got to have some money. Nerd stuff is
Hmm.
expensive, and
Yeah, it
and
is.
there's so much you can do. Like what we were just saying before we started recording, like a 3D printer. You may not think like, oh, that's not nerdy, but there's so many nerdy things I want to do with the 3D printer. I want to 3D print some Star Wars helmets. I want to 3D print myself like an entire layout for a Dungeons and Dragons like game board,
Oh
right?
shoot,
Yeah, like
that'd be really
I
cool.
want to 3D print my own little figurines. Like there's so much you can do with 3D printer for nerdy things. And like there's stuff like that. That's expensive. I got to wait until I can get some more money. And then like I said, I want to buy some more. I want to buy the armor for a shore trooper costume or a clone trooper costume. Like there's so much. There's tons of swords I want to buy. You know, like all the Lord of the Rings swords. That'd be so cool to have. Lord of the Rings helmets, if people even sell those, I would love to have those. I don't know. There's so much I want to buy, but that's just me. I don't know. How about you though?
I want to buy a lot of stuff too. I feel like out of you and Brian, I have the least, or out of the three of us, I have the least amount of nerdy stuff. I've got the Elder Wand, and at least up here at school, I've got the Elder Wand, and that's pretty much it. Back home, I had some Lego. Yeah, I said Lego. Oh, I'm the real deal.
Dude, I got some
Um,
Legos.
but oh, I guess I have a Naruto poster, but it depends on if you
Nerd.
consider anime nerdy.
I got my
Freaking
my Pod Racer Lego.
now this is pod racing.
Yeah. It's kind of dusty though.
Yeah, I was just looking for a Millennium, the collector's edition Millennium Falcon
Oh,
earlier this week, and I saw one on eBay for like $1,500, and I was like,
yeah.
I should have spent my stimulus check on that.
Oh
um,
man, that's a dream.
yeah, my nerdy journey. Um, I feel like I never really had a chance to not be a nerd because growing up, you know how like parents would like read you like a bedtime story, like what's that one, Good Night Moon,
Yeah.
and like Harold and the Purple Crayon. My mom would read me that too. And then once we got older, she started just reading us Harry Potter,
Mm.
and she'd like do the voices and everything. And I like never had a chance because she would read us the books when they'd come out, and then the best part was when the movies would come out. I was in elementary school, and she'd take us out of school early, just like so we could go see the movies, and we were like, "Ooh, this is awesome!"
That's sick.
Yeah, so that was probably like my first nerdy experience. I thought it was so cool, all the Harry Potter stuff. That's how I got into reading too, because I was like, she's reading too slow. I want to know. Yeah, I grew up watching Star Wars too. I think both my parents enjoyed Star Wars. They were both alive when it came out.
Mm.
They're alive now too, but that was weird.
You made that sound so weird. Like, well, rest in peace, Dan's parents.
Rip Dan's parents. um, no, but yeah, I got such a way with words. Anyways, I love the original trilogy. I keep wanting to say like the old trilogy, but it's the original trilogy. I watched those all the time. I thought they were so cool. And then I remember being a little kid and the Phantom Menace comes out, and I was like, whoa, there's more Star Wars, and like there are all these guys, and I like saw lightsabers and a bunch of Jedi. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. I like the pod racer stuff. Like I like
Mm-hmm.
Jar Jar Binks when I was little. I thought he was the coolest. As I've gotten older, I realized that like I think I was the only one in the universe who held that sentiment at the time.
I thought he was funny.
But yeah, I loved him. But I remember the moment that like stuck in my mind the most was probably like Darth Maul. He walks out the doors,
So
the music
good.
starts, and then like he ignites one side and then the other side, and I was like, "You can do that?
Two.
That's one more than Darth Vader." No, I said Dark Vader. That's one more than Darth Vader. Yeah. I think I was living in Kansas. No, I moved to South Carolina when that came out, but before that I was in Kansas. We had a big basement, Tornado Alley. And we had those like really janky old lightsabers with just the light bulb that would light up.
Oh yeah.
And we thought it was so fun to turn out the lights and just play, but like if you've never experienced it, being in a pitch dark room and the only source of light is a lightsaber, you're gonna smash your knuckles to bits.
Yeah, it hurts.
Yeah, not fun. So I think those were the early years. Lord of the Rings. My mom was a huge Lord of the Rings fan too, so she got us interested in the movies. I'll be honest, I was like an avid reader growing up, but I was never able to get through the books. I just finished Return of the King on Audible, and hold on. I texted my mom and my sister this. I was like, I didn't know that like Frodo, Sam,
Spoiler alert if
Merry
you haven't read
Pippin-
the books.
Oh yeah, spoiler if you haven't read the book. They go back to the Shire
Yeah.
and they like have to free it.
Yeah, dude,
And I was like,
I love
what
that.
the heck?
I was gonna mention
It was-
that if you didn't. Like, man, I was like, this is so cool. Like, why was it? And then another spoiler alert here is like, with Sauron being there with Wormtongue,
I know.
I was like, wait, what? Like, he didn't die in like way before the big war. Like, I was just
Yeah.
like, this is so cool. I loved everything about that. I thought that was like imagine an army of hobbits taking on an army of bad guys, like leftover bad guys who have taken over their home.
And they were like so boss too. Like
Yeah.
there were other hobbits who were like the sheriff,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Oh, you're under arrest. Okay, we're under arrest, but you're walking in front of us, and we're gonna keep riding our horses." And I was like, it was so cool. It made me feel like a little kid again because
Yeah.
like new Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I got a little sidetracked, but
No, it's good.
there were a lot of things. My best friend growing up from like kindergarten up till probably like middle school, we would like be at each other's house. My house would be on the trampoline. We just jump in circles, and we never played like Dungeons and Dragons, but we'd always like do pretend in our mind, be like, "Oh, I'm this person. I'm this person. These
Yeah.
are my powers." We'd sneak out at night when we'd have sleepovers, and we'd be like, "We're gonna build a secret underground base like they do in the movies and stuff." And we'd like dig a 2-foot hole and be like, "Oh, we're tired. Let's go
We're
home."
good.
We'll do it later.
Been there.
Still need to do that. If anyone knows some contractors, let me know. I need to build an underground base.
Get a 3D
Yeah,
printer.
I feel like 3D printed underground base.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was really nerdy as a kid. And then when I started getting older, like middle school, high school, I was like, oh, it's not cool to be nerdy. And so like I kind of like stuffed it down, but I was like still nerdy,
Yeah.
I played World of Warcraft since middle school. So I think that was like my outlet. I never really told anyone that when I was playing it. But yeah, I think the moment I came to like accept it and be like, can't fight anymore. Can't fight.
Yeah. You
Don't
can't.
want to deny the nerd. It was probably when we went to what? And it wasn't Comic-Con. What do they call it in Salt Lake?
Fan X.
FanX. That was it. That was so cool
That was fun.
to be there. And yeah, I saw like this Doctor Who exhibit, and like my family loved Doctor Who. I haven't seen any of the new ones, but I like took a picture inside of that. I'm like, this is so cool. It's like the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And I saw a dude dressed up like just a normal character from like RuneScape with like the green shirt and gray pants. He had like a floating sign above his head selling, I think, trout 20 GP each. And I was like, gotta get a picture with that. That like takes me way back.
Old school RuneScape. Highly
Mhm.
recommend that game.
I think do I have it on my phone? I'm pretty sure I got it on my phone.
I do, but it kills my battery, so I don't ever. But I
Mhm.
can't bring myself to delete it. I never play it on my phone, but I just can't. I can't delete it.
I had to start a new character. I think I got my fishing up to like 60 in like 2 weeks or something.
Jeez.
And now I just sit in the barbarian village and I'm just, because I used to have this driving job, where I'd have to like wait at a box for samples sometimes for like 10, 15 minutes. And I'd just pull up the game and I'd be like, boop, just fish, and then drive on. But, I didn't even talk about my anime. My best friend in my neighborhood, he got me interested in it. We used to go over to his place. He had he played Guitar Hero, Halo 3 when it came out. And then one time I saw him like reading this book, but he was reading it backwards. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're reading it the wrong way. And he's like, no, this is how you do it. It's called manga, which is manga. Um, I'm getting blasted by the sun right
Yeah,
now.
you
You
are,
guys
dude.
can. Logan can. I read the One Piece manga, and I was like, this is really cool. But they're like so short, and there's like a million and a half, not even an exaggeration, like in the One Piece series.
Hmm.
Uh, so I didn't really get into it too much. I watched a bit of Naruto here and there, but it wasn't until I got to college that I really got into like watching it because I was like, I need something to watch. And my brother-in-law, huge into Naruto. You wouldn't think if you see him because he looks like a football player because he's a
Right.
football player.
Yeah.
But yeah, he loves Naruto, and I started watching it. I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is awesome. I've definitely cried a few times during Naruto. I'm not ashamed to say that.
I hate anime so much. I just can't bring myself in it. But I will say, um, kind of, I'm not talking about anime here, but some that going along with what you said about like how it wasn't really until college until you really got into anime, and then it was like your brother-in-law who kind of got you into it a little more. Like being a nerd, like loving nerdy things is super what's the word? Contagious. Like it just
Mm,
rubs off on people. I remember my very first semester in college all the way back in 2013. Um, all my roommates were people I didn't know. I didn't know them when I went there, and they. I remember one of them was he just wasn't like he liked nerdy things, but he was almost like embarrassed. Like he had kept it in. Like he
mhm,
he just was a little embarrassed to like the nerdy things. He was always the jockey sort of guy. Um, and but I remember like and I don't know if I know one of my old roommates would listen. He was there in that apartment. I don't know if he'll listen to this. It wasn't Steven, my friend Steven. It wasn't him. That's not who I'm talking about. It was this other one named Brennan. Um, but like we started hanging out a bunch, and I remember one night we just like it was probably like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. We were like talking about Harry Potter, and I was like, dude, I when Harry Potter 7 Part 2 came out, um, I went at midnight to watch it in theaters, and I had made myself a wand, and it was like this crappy stick. I don't know. I don't even know if I still have it. It might be in a box somewhere, but it was just like this small stick that I had just like whittled into a wand, and then I stained it. And I was like, dude, we should do that. So we like went out and ran around the city of Rexburg for like 30 minutes. It was fall semester, so it was kind of cold. And I think we didn't even like put shoes on. We just like got our slippers on or
oh
something and
my
like ran out there.
gosh.
And we just like ran around like picking sticks off of trees. Like, oh, is this a good one? Like, would this be a good one? And he's like, dude, I don't know, man. I'm just in it for the game, man. This is sick. I love being a nerd. He was like so hyped. And like we went back and it's like 1 a.m. and we're just like whittling these sticks and like talking about Harry Potter. And we made wands. I'm really bummed. I took it on when I went to Uruguay for my mission for the church. I took it with me, and I think I lost it. I lost it on my mission. I was like, I'm so bummed because uh, my friend Steven still has his original one, and it's just like the memories, man. That's so cool. But that was just fun. It's fun to like rub it off on people, Like these
Mhm.
people are like you can tell like, oh man, like I want to be that passionate about this nerdy thing, or whatever, and it's cool to like do that. You're just like I don't know. It's freeing. And then I remember like years later, this was probably like 2 years ago. Um, I was like hanging out with that same roommate once, and like he was telling me how like into RuneScape he got, and he's like, dude, me and my roommates just got like really hardcore into RuneScape, old school RuneScape, and I was like, dude, like if I don't think if I was his roommate in 2013, I don't think he ever would have gotten into that like nerdy thing. He wouldn't have gotten into old school
Yeah.
RuneScape. And it's kind of cool. It's kind of fun to like think about that kind of stuff though.
Yeah, it is. I've had roommates like that. I discovered the other day like how nerdy one was. He works like the night shift. I was studying at his place for finals or something along those lines. He gets off at 11. I was just chilling there and I was like, "Oh, he's almost off." He gets home and we talk or whatever for a little bit and then he like opens up Disney Plus. He's got like the last half hour left of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm,
Um,
great movie.
and it was paused. It was paused right, as Obi-Wan is like tape
Oh
of him killing younglings.
no.
Um, and so we like both quoted that. I'm like, oh, I didn't like Star Wars, didn't like it that much. And then like the rest of the movie, like throughout the entire, it's Duel of the Fates, right? I always get that confused with the Darth Maul one. I
I
always get
think
those
I
songs
think
mixed
the
up.
I think the Darth Maul one is Duel of the Fates.
What's that? Is it like Battle of the Heroes or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, that's it. Battle of
Okay,
the Heroes. Great song.
Battle of the Heroes. Yeah, that fight. Um, the entire time we were just like quoting it, and it was like so funny, but like at the same time we're like, this is sick, and we're talking about like, imagine like if Anakin hadn't done this, or like if he had done it
Yeah.
differently, if Anakin had landed in like a slightly different spot on the platform, or if Obi-Wan had, like the fight would have been way different.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's just so cool. Like he's been my friend for, I don't know, 2 years or something, but I never knew he was that into Star Wars.
Dude, I don't know if this is true. But I read this thing that moment when Obi-Wan is telling Padme that he's like, "Oh, I saw a video of him killing younglings or whatever," and he's like puts his hand over his mouth and stuff. Apparently, like Ewan McGregor couldn't get that line out without laughing. And so
Yeah,
he finally like put his hand over his mouth to cover his smile, but he made it kind of look like he was sad and crying or whatever. But I don't know if that's true, but I think that'd be really funny to think about.
I
Ewan McGregor couldn't stop laughing every time he said a video of him killing kids, basically. It's so
I heard
dark.
about that too, but someone told me it was my buddy. He told me during that part, he's like, yeah, they were laughing, Ewan and who Natalie Portman,
Natalie Portman.
because Hayden Christensen was behind the camera just like twirling his lightsaber
Oh,
around while they were delivering the line.
maybe that was it. I'd still think it'd be really funny though if like it was because of the context of the
Oh
line
yeah,
he had to say, which would be
killing
so
young.
so dark. I don't imagine that's how he would be, but it's so good. Yeah,
uh,
being a nerd is it's a it's a different world. Going back to what you were saying about Fan X, which people who don't know, it's like a Comic Con at in Salt Lake City, Utah. It's super fun. I I first went, I think back in, I think it was like spring of 2017, I believe. Um, and I had never been. That was the first time I had ever gone to any type of con, right? Quote unquote con, convention. And I was just like, and I went with my girlfriend at the time. She's now my wife, but um, and yeah, she was brand new to the nerdy world at like period. Like she liked Harry Potter. She had never seen Star Wars when I first started dating her. She had never seen Lord of the Rings when I first started dating her. Which to me was like a huge shock. Like who hasn't seen these things? But at the same time, it was kind of cool
mhm.
because it was like, well, let me introduce the two of the greatest things in the history of the world into your life for the first time. And so it was kind of cool to do that. But yeah, like we went to Fan X and it was so cool. To me, it was just nobody, like everyone there's weird, right? And there's
Mhm.
different levels of weird there. Like you have really weird people there. And I don't mean that in a mean way, right? I just mean different, right? Like they act different than normal society, right? Quote unquote normal society. Um, you got really weird, you got not that weird, and then you actually have some people who are like these jerks who are just there to like make fun of people, but nobody cares. Like they could do it, but they're outnumbered. Like nobody cares. Like do what you want. Um, but like everybody's like you run around and be like, dude, awesome costume. Like, that's so cool. The first time I went, my favorite costume I saw was this guy was dressed up like Barf from Spaceballs. And I was like, it was one of the best costumes I've ever seen. He looked just like Barf. And he had like a box of like doggy treats, and he had like the floppy dog feet, and he had the mechanic suit and the ears and the hair, and so it was perfect. So I took a picture with him. I was like, dude, I have to take a picture with you. And he's like, come on in, man. Like, whatever. And it was so good. They had like I don't know, life size, but it was like a life size statue of Gollum. That was really cool. Smeagol. Um, they had like this massive statue of Azog from The Hobbit, the White Orc. There's just so many things. I went there and I was just like, this is so cool. I was like a kid in a candy shop, and I
Mm.
wanted to buy everything. Of course, I couldn't. And then you have like celebrities there, right? Like, one year, I think it was the year I went. I think it was the year I went with you guys, with you and Brian. Um, I got an autograph from Daniel Logan, who plays young Boba Fett in the prequels, and then also in the TV show Clone Wars, he voices the young Boba Fett and the young clones. And then I also got to meet uh, James Arnold Taylor, who voiced Obi-Wan Kenobi in the Clone Wars series. And I'm totally spacing her name. I've been trying to think of it. But the lady who plays voice acts for Duchess Satine in Clone Wars, Obi-Wan's kind of love interest sort of lady from Mandalore. I got to meet both of them. Uh, and I got the autographs of James Arnold Taylor and of Daniel Logan, and it was just cool. I did a photo op with Daniel Logan, but it was just like, it's so fun. These people are so nice, and the whole world there is just a nerdy realm, and everybody like. I don't like anime, but if somebody's wearing something anime, it's like, dude, cool. Like that's cool.
Mm.
You like put effort into that. It's weird to me, but it's cool. And I was like, I'm not gonna go there and be like, man, you look stupid. And so like, I don't know. But it's so cool to like just be there. I mean, like, we got Brian. I think Brian bought a sword when we were there, right?
Yeah, he did. That was
Um,
sick.
I think it was a Lord of the Rings one, and
Yeah, I think it was
I think it was
what's Aragon?
Aragorn's. Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
Um,
I just listened to the book. I should
is it
know.
and I don't know if I can't remember if he got Anduril, the Flame of the West, um, or if he got his sword before he uses Anduril. I can't remember. Either way, super cool. I wanted to
Hmm.
buy a sword. I almost bought Longclaw, which is from Game of Thrones. It's a Jon Snow sword, but I couldn't bring myself. It was so much money, I couldn't bring myself.
They're expensive.
Yeah. Uh, but man, it's good. It's fun. I highly recommend anyone listening, or anyone who ever comes across this podcast episode, go to a convention, go to Comic Con, go to Star Wars Celebration, go to any of the conventions that are in any state or any country you live in. Just go to one. You don't have to dress up. Wear your favorite t-shirt, nerdy t-shirt, wear a Star Wars t-shirt, Avatar t-shirt, whatever. Just go. It's so fun. Bring some money to buy something. Um, it's a good time. Go. There's a whole art section where people do fan art, and it's super cool stuff. Um, Maybe you want to spend a chunk of money and meet a famous person from one of your nerdy shows. I don't know. There's so many things, but go. Like, it is so worth it. So fun. If I could go all the time, I would. I honestly would.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot more, I think, to probably yours and I for sure mine, to how I became a nerd, what made me want to full on be more nerdy and stuff. Um, a lot of it is like, shout out to my friends, because like my friends Jordan and Brigham, they both super nerds, love gaming. Um, but like they were so into it, they know a ton about nerdy subjects, and we'll have them on the show. We have to have them on the show sooner than later. We were going to talk about zombies with them, and I need to set that up.
Heck
I
yeah,
feel bad
dude.
that I just don't. I need to sooner than later. But they got me. I feel like they pushed me to be more nerdy. I think we kind of pushed all three of us pushed each other to be more nerdy, which is fun. We still do. We still game all the time, talk about nerdy stuff. It's super cool. But I don't know. Do you have anything else? I mean, there's a lot more we could talk about our journey to the nerd life, but
I think that if you're trying to like hide your nerdiness or you don't want to admit how nerdy you are, I think the thing that I've learned the most about life as I've gotten older, you know, in my 26 years of experience right
oh,
here. Oh, I got back problems unrelated to age.
I literally did hurt my back
speaking of
last
that,
week, though.
You know what I did at work today? So I work construction, right? I was hanging a piece of siding. It was probably about 9 feet long, pretty heavy, and I realized I didn't have my nail gun, and so I went to grab the nail gun, let go of the siding, so it fell right on top of my head. Luckily, I started wearing my hard hat last week, so I was like, "What the heck was that?" Yeah, wear your hard hat too. That's a good life lesson. I cut my finger open at work.
Even if you don't work in construction, buy a hard hat and wear it around. You never know. You never know.
That's true. People might make assumptions, but that's okay. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I think the thing that I've learned about life is that everyone is nerdy. It's just some people don't admit it. I think the thing that was really cool is like seeing all the like high school like football players. A lot of them that I went to like high school with. You know, I was like, oh, these guys are so cool. They're on the football team. They're good at sports. You know, they're popular, whatever. And like, I'm friends with them on Instagram. I went to elementary school with some of them. And like, they'll post about like Dragon Ball Z or like Naruto. And I'm like, what the heck? These guys are not like that in high school. And so everyone's like nerdy to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, just like be yourself. You'll be happiest. And you'll find a lot of people who have common interests too.
Those are deep words. Take those to heart for sure. Well, I don't really have anything else. I mean, everything you said, yeah, straight up, that's true. But I guess if that's everything, honestly, thank you for listening. Brian should be back next week for sure. Like I said, he's just feeling kind of crappy. But you can find us on all those podcast platforms, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, all those places, Anchor. Like I said, we have a YouTube. Go over there and comment how you became a nerd, what makes you want to be more nerdy, what you want to do to be more nerdy. I don't know, anything like that onto the YouTube on this episode. And hit like and share this podcast with your friends, please. Honestly, like, we obviously don't do this for money, but it's just fun. Like, we just enjoy it, and we want more, like this episode explained, we know everybody has a little bit of nerd in them, whether it's anime, whether it's Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars, whatever. Everybody has a little bit of nerd in them. And there's probably something we're going to talk about that they're going to enjoy. So why not share it? And maybe they're the type of nerd who hasn't really, like, they're not flaunting their nerdiness and you want them to. And it's like, dude, listen to this podcast. Like, let's get into this, share it. Share it with all your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with the hobo that's down the street, whatever. Share it with everyone you can, because we're having a good time and we're going to have more fun and we're going to keep doing this no matter what. But really, thanks for listening. And we'll catch you on the next one. See you later.
Bye.
The Council of Nerds.